Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming today. Before we begin, is there anyone who's going to come today?
Good morning, Mr. Haziq. So I would like to inform the community that Mr. Aiman Haris bin Abdul Hussein is unable to attend today's meeting due to a scheduled medical appointment. So his absence was communicated in advance and will be duly recorded in the minutes of the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Shakila. Please log the absence and reason in the minutes of meeting for today. So before we start with today's agenda, I trust everyone has received the minutes of meeting from our previous meeting, correct? Are there any corrections or amendments that we need to make before we pass them?
I have, Ms. Razi. I would like to point a minor error in the previous minutes. Under the financial reports section, the licensing renewal cost for our endpoint antivirus software was recorded 3,500 ringgit Malaysia when it should have been 5,300 ringgit Malaysia. I would like this figure to be corrected before the minutes are approved.
Thank you for highlighting the correction. So the amendment will be made accordingly, changing the recorded figure from 3,500 ringgit to 5,300 ringgit and reflected in the appropriation of the minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Shakila. Are there any others? Okay, if there are not, all in favor of accepting the minutes of meeting of the previous meeting?
Thank you, Mr. Haziq. I would like to formally propose that the minute of the previous meeting be accepted as true and accurate record, subject to the correction of the antivirus licensing figure raised by the compliance officer.
Thank you to Mr. Haziq. So I hereby second the motion to accept the minutes of previous meeting is an accurate record of the proceedings.
Alright, let us proceed with the matters arising from the minutes. I believe we are still pending regarding the security issue of our software vendor regarding their outdated protocols. Can you give an update on the situation, Ms. Natasha?
Thank you, Mr. Haziq. So regarding to the software vendor's outdated security protocol, I have completed the primarily review. While vendors acknowledge our previous concern, no corrective action have been taken. As this and may expose the organization to cyber security risks, I recommend that we contact the vendor immediately and request an official timeline for our corrective actions.
Thank you, Ms. Natasha. Given the seriousness of this issue, I would suggest we send an official formal printed letter to the vendor's upper management. A formal letter carries greater legal weight and signals the gravity of the matter more clearly than an email.
With respect, Mr. Haziq, I would like to counter the suggestion given how time-sensitive this cybersecurity list is. I believe sending a corporate email would be far more practical. An email reach the vendor's management immediately and allow us to document a timestamp for any future escalation. A formal printed letter, while professional, may introduce unnecessary delays when addressing time sensitivity cybersecurity matters.
I agree with that strategy. An email is a more immediate way of contacting the vendor. If anyone else has a counter proposal, feel free to say it. Very well. This motion is carried. Ms. Natasha, please send me a draft of the email by tomorrow afternoon. I will verify it and send it to the vendor.
Okay, so
Okay, moving on. Let us start with the vulnerable credential security problem situation. As you all know, management has approved our pitch. So, Ms. Natasha, please start the discussion by explaining the background regarding our credential security.
Thank you, Mr. Haziq. So, credential security has become a growing concern for our organizations worldwide. Many cyber attacks today do not attack solely on advanced hacking technique, but instead they target our employees' credentials through the phishing emails, password theft, and also the social engineering attacks. So, for capital A, the impact of this exposure is very dangerous. So, if employees' login credentials are leaked, attackers can gain direct and authorized access to our flight booking infrastructure, backend cloud system, and also the passenger databases. So this could expose the highly sensitive personal data.
Oh, I must stop you right there. Honestly, this is exactly the kind of fear-mongering I have come to expect from the technical team. Phishing emails, password theft, these are the most basic textbook tried in the book. Are we really going to sit there and waste the committee's time on this? Our current system are perfectly fine. People are blowing this completely out of...
Miss Aina, while I don't mind the constructive criticism, please be aware that you are still at work. Keep your emotions in check and keep your decorum while in these walls. Everyone will be given a chance to speak, but you must wait your turn. Now please apologize to Miss Natasha so we can proceed.
Apologize, Mr. Haziq, and I extend my apologize to you, Miss Natasha. That was entirely unprofessional of me. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. As I was explaining, credential security remains one of the leading causes of data breaches globally. Recent cybersecurity reports indicate that stolen or compromised credentials continue to be one of the most common attack vectors to the cyber criminals. Therefore, organizations must strengthen their authentication system and implement proactive monitoring measures to reduce this risk.
If I may know, I would like to present some data to the community. As you can look here, it's a compare report on credential-related data breach incident recorded over the past 2 years. The figure shows a spike of 1,192% of in breaches directly linked to stolen or compromised employees' credentials. This is not a theoretical risk. Organizations have suffered direct financial losses, regulatory penalties, and severe reputational damage as a direct consequences of weak credential management. The numbers speak for themselves, and this is precisely why the community must act decisively.
Thank you for that data, Ms. Aina. I would like to put forward a suggestion for the community's consideration, which is to re-evaluate and increase password change frequency across the organization. By requiring employees to update their password every 3 days, we can limit the windows of exposure if a credential is compromised. However, I acknowledge that this approach may be impractical day to day because it could lead to employee frustration or the use of weaker and more predictable password can be exposed.
If I may, Ms. Shara, while I understand the intent behind changing password frequently, I disagree with this approach because it will create severe user fatigue among our operational staff. Employees will likely resort to writing their passwords down on sticky notes or personal devices, creating an even larger security loophole for our corporate network. Instead, I would like to propose an alternative, which is to implement regular software upgrade across our entire desktop and server infrastructure. So by ensuring that operating systems, antivirus tools and applications are constantly updated, we can automatically patch the system vulnerabilities that cybercriminals exploit.
Thank you, Ms. Shakila. So, is there anyone who would like to comment on this suggestion?
I have to disagree with Ms. Shakila. While keeping our operating system patched is essential, it fails to solve our root problem. A software update cannot distinguish between a legitimate employee and malicious hacker if the hacker enters our system using a perfectly valid stolen corporate login.
If I may then, I'd like to propose my own suggestion. I suggest the mandatory implementation of phishing-resistant multi-factor authentication, or MFA, combined with automated dark web credential monitoring software. Phishing-resistant MFA ensures that even if an employee's password is completely compromised, an external attacker cannot gain administrative access to our flight system without a secondary physical verification factor. Simultaneously, the automated monitoring software will continuously scan external database for leaked corporate emails and trigger immediate alerts.
Thank you everyone for the valuable input. To ensure a fair decision-making process, we will now vote on each proposal before selecting the final one. For our first vote, increasing password change frequency across capital A platforms to every 3 days. Can I see a verbal vote?
Sorry, I vote for no.
I stand with Ms. Natasha.
Since this is my idea, I will vote yes.
I'm saying no to this suggestion.
I will also vote no. Alright, we will continue to the next vote, which is implementing regular software updates across our entire desktop and server infrastructure.
Sorry, no.
No.
Same with me.
I'm saying yes because this suggestion sounds interesting.
I will also vote no. Alright, that is 1 to 5. Final vote for the suggestion of implementing mandatory phishing resistance MFA combined with automatic dark web credential monitoring software.
Yes, this is a perfect one.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes, I agree.
Alright, as this gets the majority vote, this motion is carried anonymously.
Noted, Mr. Haziq. So the committee has approved the implementation of mandatory phishing-resistant multi-factor authentication or MFA and automated dark web credential monitoring software. So the security officer, Ms. Aina, has been appointed as the person in charge of PIC for this initiative with a 1-week deadline to prepare vendor recommendations and also the budget estimates for the committee's review.
Alright. Okay, let us proceed to the next agenda, which is about the unsegmented data storage. Ms. Natasha, could you please proceed with the explanation on our server infrastructure and the case study related to it?
Thank you, Mr. Haziq. So, unsegmented data storage occurs when the critical organization system and sensitive data are stored within a flat network environment with adequate separation between users, department, and also resources. This creates significant security risk because once attacker gain access to one part of the network, they may able to move freely across the entire infrastructure. So a relevant example is Prasarana ransomware incident, where approximately 316 gigabytes of internal data were reportedly compromised. This incident demonstrates how cyber attacks can affect large organizations and potentially support sensitive operations information. Operational information. So this case highlights the importance of implementing stronger network controls and data protection to minimize the impact of our future attacks.
I would like to put forward a suggestion for the committee's consideration. One approach would be to completely disconnect the organization local server network from the internet entirely. By doing so, we would eliminate external cyber threats at the network level, as attackers would have no remote entry point into our system. However, I acknowledge that this solution, while theoretically secure, would render most of our day-to-day basis operation impossible. Remote work, cloud service, client communication, and vendor integration would all be severely disrupted. This would significantly reduce productivity, disrupt business operation, and negatively impact our ability to serve customers effectively. For that reason, I present this option transparently, and I do not recommend it as a practical solution for our organization.
Thank you, Ms. Aina. So while disconnecting our network from internet would reduce external cyber threats, I do not support this suggestion because it would severely disrupt our daily operations. So our company depends on internet access for communication, cloud services, and business transactions. So this approach could reduce productivity and affect our customer service. So as an alternative, I would like to present another suggestion, which is to expand the cloud storage capacity without updating the existing security controls. Although this will increase storage availability, it does not address the underlying security issues. So without stronger security measures, our company would face a higher risk of cyber attacks, data breaches, and unauthorized access, potentially leading to financial and reputational damage. Therefore, I do not consider this a complete solution to the problem.
Okay, so thank you, Ms. Shakila. So while expanding cloud storage capacity may improve the flexibility, I do not support this suggestion because it does not address our organization's security weaknesses. Without stronger security controls, our company would face a greater risk of data breaches and also unauthorized access. As an alternative, I propose that we can implement a zero trust network segmentation models together with the data loss prevention, DLP. Zero trust continuous verifies users and device before granting access, while DLP prevents sensitive data from being leaked or accessed without authorization. So together, these solutions strengthen the data security and support regulatory compliance and protect our company's operational and reputation.
Thank you, Ms. Natasha. While I recognize that the security benefit of your suggestion, I would like to raise a practical concern. Continuous verification under a zero trust model may slow access to system and resource, particularly for our developers and operational teams. If not implemented carefully, this could affect productivity, delay project delivery, and impact the efficiency of our company's daily operations. I would like to hear the committee's views of whether these potential operation challenges can be effectively managed.
Thank you for the opportunity. You raised a valid point regarding our operational speed. We can't afford to implement a solution that would hinder the company's daily productivity. With that in mind, Ms. Natasha, could you please clarify to the committee how we will maintain operational efficiency without creating a bottleneck in our workflow?
Thank you, Mr. Haziq. So the concern about operational efficiency is valid. However, modern Trust Zero system has automated authentication and role-based access control to minimize the disruption. So this allows our company to strengthen security and reduce risk of cyber attacks and protect sensitive data without significantly affect employees' productivity.
If I may add, Mr. Haziq, there's also an important legal consideration. Under the PDPA, organizations that fail to protect personal data may face substantial financial penalties. For our company, a data breach could result not only in fines, but also reputational damage and loss of customers' trust. Therefore, this offers both strong security protection and legal compliance, making it the most suitable solution for the organization.
Thank you everyone for your valuable input. Again, we will do a vote to choose which proposal we will choose. For first proposal of disconnecting the organization's network from the internet,
No.
As usual, no.
No, no for this proposal.
I will also vote no. This suggestion will be rejected. Next suggestion, expanding the cloud storage capacity without updating security protocols.
No.
Nah.
No.
No.
I will also vote no. This suggestion is rejected. Last suggestion, implementing a zero trust network segmentation model together with DLP software.
Yes.
This is
Yeah.
I'm glad you say yes.
We go with this model.
I will also vote yes since this is a majority vote. We will go forward with this model.
Noted, Mr. Haziq. So the community has approved this suggestion, namely the adoption of a zero trust network segmentation model together with data loss prevention (DLP) software. So our technical analyst, Ms. Natasha, has been appointed as the person in charge PIC and is required to submit the initial infrastructure blueprint within 2 weeks for the community's review.
Before I forget, is there any other business that needs attention? Are there any minor administrative measures or non-urgent topics that any members wish to raise before we conclude the meeting?
Yes, Mr. Haziq. Just a brief and administrative reminder from procurement. Our corporate desktop antivirus software licenses are set to expire at the end of this month. I recommended our IT team begins the renewal process early next week to avoid any security lapses.
Thank you for the reminder, Ms. Shara. This is very important. Ms. Shakila, please ensure this timeline is noted in the AOB section of our meeting so we do not lose track of it.
Understood, Mr. Haziq. It has been properly done.
Okay, so before we adjourn today's meeting, I will go through the key points, designated roles and deadlines that have been finalized as of this meeting. So firstly, regarding to our previous minutes of meeting, all issues have been resolved. We will be sending an official email to address our software vendors' outdated protocols due to the time-sensitive nature of the profile of the issue. Ms. Natasha will be in charge of writing and sending me the draft of said email by tomorrow afternoon so I can verify and send it out.
Noted.
Next, regarding the vulnerability of our credential security, the committee has voted to implement a mandatory phishing resistance MFA and deploying automated credential monitoring software. Ms. Aina will be in charge of that with a deadline of 1 week to source the credible vendor profiles. Third, the unsegmented data storage. We agreed to transition to a zero trust network segmentation model alongside with DLP software to mitigate the risk of PDPA penalties. Ms. Natasha will also be the person in charge for overseeing this project with a 2-week deadline to deliver the initial blueprint of the architecture. Finally, we acknowledge the reminder that we have to renew our corporate desktop antivirus software licenses early next week to ensure our protections remain fully active. If everything goes to plan, when will our next meeting be, Ms. Shakila?
Thank you, Mr. Haziq. So the next meeting of the Enterprise Data Security and Compliance Committee will be held on 30 June 2026 at 10 a.m. in meeting room A. So in accordance with committee procedures, the notice of meeting and the agenda will be distributed to all the members at least 7 days prior to the meeting. I would also like to record that today's meeting was officially adjourned at 11:25 a.m.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Shakila. I want to express my appreciation to all of you for coming to today's meeting, and I value each and every one of your insight and efforts. Please make sure that all the tasks are completed on the given schedule. And again, thank you everyone, and this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Haziq.